His grandmother energy is what I'm
Yeah, that we
She's
can
still
see.
taking care of our grandkids.
Yesterday, I told my daughter, let immediately sleep in your room. I beg. He doesn't let me sleep. He will now wake up around 1 to say that he wants water. I beg. That wake up is not, he hasn't slept too. He has the kind of energy that boy has. Now one in town. Sleep, no day.
So are they here till summer, end of summer?
No. They're leaving this weekend.
Oh.
But you know, I'm going there soon.
Okay.
So
That's good. So you,
No
you actually, you guys have...
She's on grammar duty.
I'm telling you, back
She
to
doesn't
back.
take
Back
it.
to back.
You go, they come. You go, they come.
I didn't talk, but let me come to you.
I'm good. Today is my mom's birthday.
Yay!
oh, happy birthday, Mama Tokpe.
As
Mama Tokpe Noni.
Mama Tokpe, oh. So every time I add weight, I look a lot like my mom, and I'm really grateful that I have my parents alive and
Both of
very
them.
supportive. Yes, my mom and my dad, very, very supportive. I cannot do what I do without their support. When I traveled, people always ask me, how did you do it? How do you cope? I say, when I leave the country, my parents stay with my kids, and there is no I. It's a major blessing. So thank you, Mama Tokwe, Mrs. Olayinka Odubela. Thank you for being a good mother. Thank you for all that you do, the sacrifices you've made. Mommy is Mommy Bugbaye, and I am grateful. I get the blessings from your sacrifices. God bless you.
Happy birthday, mommy.
Happy birthday, mommy.
Happy
I'll
birthday,
send her a
mommy.
message too. Happy
Yeah.
birthday, mommy. Hope you're sending her a cake or something.
Of
Yeah,
course.
Fantastic.
Don't spill the beans here.
How you doing? What are you covering your leg for now?
You want me to show my leg on public TV? I wore shorts
fine,
today.
fine.
Yeah.
How you doing?
I'm doing amazing. So thank you, ladies, for gifting me a very wonderful birthday gift. So yesterday I was at the Happiness Center.
Whoa.
Yes, so I had the massage, I had the consultation, I had the meditation. It was just so calming. It was my thing. So when I walked in there, I was like, the ladies of your view. The ladies of your view again. But I had a very good time, and I'll be going back there for some sort of treatments. You know, we want to glow. We want to glow.
Like, you're already glowing.
No, wait. When the doctor
what this girl is
when the
doing.
doctor asked me my age, and I told him, he did like this. So I was scared. I was like, do I look older or younger? He said, younger. Are you sure that's your age? And I was feeling good.
But
So
you
I did
are-
more treatments. Yeah.
But you said you're glowing. Me, I know I don't have the capacity for treatments. I know I don't do that. But I'm happy to see the results.
Yeah.
You guys are doing well. I mean, well
Yeah.
done. Fantastic.
It's a good thing. I think I will go there.
Yes, you should.
Like, you don't need it, do you?
You should.
Ah.
Create some packaging
this,
for.
after she finished grammar duty.
No, she needs
needs,
it.
she needs that 1 week
A
of
few
just,
days to just.
just maybe not 1 week, maybe 3 days.
Oh,
Yeah.
If the happiness center,
Yes.
joy center,
Joy
Food Cross center,
Refresh.
I'll take you to
every
kilometer
center.
46. Holy Spirits. would help.
Holy Spirit Center.
Yeah, you'll be all right. All right, it's Thursday. It's our Gistin Day. Stay with us first. We're going to go to the front pages of the papers. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Okay, we're going to start with the nation. Soyinka to Tinubu, make power devolution priority. Court suspends LP National Chair Secretary, others. I am sad to leave Nigeria, says British High Commissioner. Stop harboring IPOB members, FG tells EU countries. 50 million Nigerians to share World Bank's $800 million as petrol subsidy palliative. 6 died, 27 million recovered from accident scene in Osun. Trump denounces felony charges against him. APC moves to reconcile Adamu, Omishiri, and with Lukman. And Obasanjo writes UK court over Ekweremadu. So Professor Wole Soyinka was yesterday speaking at the TV station, and he was saying specifically that the president-elect, Bola Ahmed Tinubu, must decentralize power. They said that for him is priority for the incoming government. He spoke well, saying that the decentralization, that is all I want out of the incoming government. Whichever it is, let us have a genuine, not a rhetorical, but a genuine, practical, detailed decentralization. And that was his core message. We've also talked about recently when he condemned
That's him.
that's the Labour Party vice presidential candidate, saying that he was wrong for him what he said well, that nobody has ever threatened the judiciary like that, and it's wrong for him, what he said was wrong. Either way, but yesterday's interview was specifically to remind the president-elect that decentralization should be priority for him. Any other story?
Yeah, 6 people were killed in an accident on the Ikpetu-Ilesha road in Osun State. The road safety suspects that they had a head-on collision, you know, and 7 people were injured. He said there were 17 people. He says they found 21,900 on the driver, but they didn't specify whether he died or not. But then they also found 27,171,400, and they have disbursed that to the victims' families.
That's good. That's a good one. Yes, so the outgoing British High Commissioner to Nigeria, Katrina Wendy Lane, spoke yesterday during a farewell visit to President Muhammadu Buhari at the State House, Abuja, after 4.5 years tour of duty. And she said that she had a fabulous time in Nigeria and she will definitely be back. According to her, she said she's had a very good time for 4 years. She loves the dance, the music, the culture, and it's been good to experience our country. She's been to over 20 states, and she has told her successor that you must travel around the states in the country. And also in response to that, the president said that they had had a very good 8 years working together. That's with the British Commission, and the president applauded them for all the work they are doing in the Northeast, you know, trying to help, you know, do things to solve the case of insurgency and rebuild the Northeast. And so that he's very happy that Nigerians love having relations with UK. As a Nigerian, if you don't have a house in UK, it seems like you're not complete. But that he's tired. He cannot wait. After May 29th, he's retiring to Daura, Katsina State, where he's going to stay far away from Abuja and, you know, attend to himself, basically.
So, still talking about the UK, our former president, Olusegun Obasanjo, has written a letter over the Ekweremadu situation. He's asking the chief clerk that over the court to take in cognizance the fact that Nigeria has a good relationship with the UK, and also the fact that the Ekweremadus were acting based on the emotional attachment to their child, that they should also consider the fact that they have a daughter who is very ill. He mentioned the fact that he realizes the implication of their action, and he says it is unpleasant, condemnable, and can't be tolerated in any sane, civilized society. But he's pleading with them that in the sentencing, they should take in cognizance those 3 things he highlighted. However, we must remember that during the 6-week trial, the prosecutor, Hugh Davis Casey, kept saying that the way the Ekweremadus treated Nwamini and other potential donors was more like a cold commercial transaction, seeing them like a disposable asset. So at least we're hoping that the sentencing will take in cognizance the letter that Obasanjo has written, and they might be lenient when sentencing him.
You don't think that Obasanjo has a political there's a political undertone to his letter? But that's not a conversation for today. But it's just suspicious. Like, why is he the one
He's
writing
appealing
letter?
for
Okay, let us...
an other statesman.
Okay, all right, we'll see. The Punch. New House leadership, opposition reps elect plots to upstage APC. Bitcoin platform with 1.5 million Nigerian users shut down. Okada riders on rampage kill cop injured DPO. Lagos-Ibadan Expressway ready April 30th. Drainage delay or your section, says federal government. Ekweremadu Obasanjo begs UK court for leniency. Fresh promissory note raising national debt, says DMO. And FG borrowing $800 million for mass transit and cash transfers. Okay, which story are we starting with?
We can do the 800 million. So the federal government has secured $800 million from the International Bank for Reconstruction and Development, World Bank, to provide post-petroleum subsidy palliatives for over 50 million Nigerians ahead of June 2023. The Minister of Finance, Budget and National Planning, Zainab Ahmed, revealed this in the State House. And, you know, this is a conversation that we had been having. I remember taking it 2 weeks ago, where they said they were going to find ways to give palliatives to cushion the effects of removing the subsidy. And now this is one of the things that they have signed off on. And this first tranche of the palliatives will be disbursed to 10 million households in form of cash. She said there's a provision of the Petroleum Industry Act that says 18 months after the effectiveness of the PIA, all petroleum products must be deregulated, and that 18 months takes us to June 2023. They are also working to see how they can raise more funds so that they have enough cash to disburse to this family. Now, there's a register that has been opened which contains a list of 10 million households, and that is equivalent to about 50 million Nigerians. That will be having the first tranche of disbursement. So when they get more money, they will see how they can scale that up. They are also finding ways to do more, aside from the cash transfers, they want to be able to still give mass transit-free transportation to people to help cushion the effects of the removal of the subsidy, and they are working on all of this.
Okay, so, okay, you have a story?
Yeah, the Okada riders.
Yes.
On the rampage, allegedly, they killed a policeman. The policeman had tried to arrest one of the Okadas, and when he stopped him, the other ones now gathered. You can't arrest him, and in that matter, they started to fight. Apparently, another policeman tried to scare them away by firing in the air. They pounced on him. This is the story by witnesses. They pounced on him, seized his gun, beat him, and killed him. Then they now dispersed. But they started brandishing weapons and everything, because the police now came, to try and
Arrest.
yeah, install law and order. But they were just frightening. This Sele bus stop.
In Lagos, here we have banned Okada.
Well,
But Hussein is saying no.
as Benjamin Hundeyin, the PR. Yes. Have they arrested anybody yet? Do you know?
They've seized 41 motorcycles. They've arrested 2 suspects. But
it's
he's saying no weapon was taken from the police. He's saying that's fake news.
Okay.
So.
All right. So the peer-to-peer Bitcoin platform Paxful. Many people know Paxful because there are about 1.5 million Nigerians users were on that platform. The co-founders disclosed that they have to shut down their operations. Now, he was saying specifically that they had to suspend their marketplace position. He said, we are not sure if they will come back. This will probably come as a big shock to many. He says he cannot tell you the full story now, but for now, he has a lawsuit over his head right now. That I think his co-founder also sued him. But he said, more importantly, a lot of the things have gotten really strained due to a lot of regulatory obligations which they are unable to meet. Many Nigerians, if you recall, when CBN had restricted cryptocurrency in Nigeria, many Nigerians then migrated into Paxful. I know a few people that are also on that platform. Said with his impending closure, joins a long list of crypto firms to shut down after promising customers so much money. Paxful gained prominence in Nigeria after the central bank had placed a restriction on the crypto transactions through official channels. So I feel bad for
your own there.
Would they lose money?
I know you had one account.
I can have the Bitcoin, but thank God I had sold it then. Please, thank you very much. But I had some change. So what happened was that I sold then, but I had some 0.0 Bitcoin left, which when I valued was almost *1 million. So
That's something.
that is still, it was there.
It will still come up.
But it's not on Paxful, somewhere else. Okay, let's go on a quick break.
I'm just asking.
When we come back, we continue with our review. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Thanks for staying with us. Now we're moving on to Daily Sun. Soyinka gives damning verdict on last elections. NSIA Vital signed carbon avoidance removal projects and agreement. Post-subsidy palliatives. FG secures $800 million from World Bank, targets 50 million Nigerians. 8 students, others kidnapped, says Kaduna State Government. FG to build 15 psychiatric outposts in Southeast. Igbo should come home for census to prove our large population, says IPOB. Obasanjo writes UK court seeks leniency for Ikere Madu. And treason claim, FG APC overheating politics, Nwazurike. Okay, which story are we starting with?
The federal government has established 15 outposts of mental health care centers in the southeast. This was according to the medical director of the Federal Neuropsychiatric Hospital, Enugu, who said this, after they had a short briefing. And he said that the outposts will be located in each of the senatorial districts, and the essence is to make access to mental health services easier for the people of the zone. 9 out of the 15 proposed outposts have been completed and equipped and will be operational soonest, and they have ambulances readily available to convey patients to Enugu in case of major cases. So according to him, he said this hospital is the only psychiatric facility in the entire southeast region. It's also the only facility that is made to train doctors and nurses in psychiatry. It's also the only facility that offers research in terms of mental health in the southeast. And it is also our mandate to give clinical services to people that have mental illnesses. They are also saying that this is open to people from all over the regions, other parts of the country, the south, the north, and all that. You can have access to mental health care in these facilities. So the remaining 6 will be worked on, and by the time they are ready, they will open for business.
So many of us remember the Sovereign Wealth Fund, right? So the Nigeria Sovereign Investment Authority, NSIA, have a joint venture with a company called Vital, and they have completed this venture to help in to invest a range of carbon avoidance and removal of projects as in the process of reaching a final investment decision to first project. So what they're doing is that they're going to be investing in projects to support climate change in a nutshell. This was said by the Honorable Minister, Finance Minister and Budget National Planning, that's Mrs. Zainab Ahmed, was saying this yesterday. He said that they've made an initial investment of $50 million, has been committed with view to attracting more investors as partnership develop the project going forward. The JV will commence with projects in Nigeria, partnering with local firms with proven track record of successfully delivering high-quality projects, combining carbon offsetting with social outcomes that contribute to the attainment of the United Nations development goals. This is good news, at least, but now we know how they could plan to reinvest some of our sovereign wealth fund, and this is a good this opportunity for those in the climate change and environmental area. There's an opportunity to work with the Nigerian government on this.
So I want to take the story about from the federal government, represented by Alhaji Lai Mohammed, Minister for Information and Culture. He was speaking at, in Washington, D.C., addressing a group of U.S. officials in an engagement on international media and policies based on the Just Concrete 2023 elections. And his comment was that some Western countries are giving credence to IPOB. They are supporting IPOB, allowing IPOB to raise funds. According to him, in Nigeria, IPOB has been declared a terrorist organization. He said, but some Western countries are dealing with them, and he said it's hypocritical for the world to claim that it's fighting terrorism, yet in turn support a terrorist organization. He used the platform to call upon the foreign media to stop regurgitating social media fables on the Nigerian 2023 elections on their platforms. And then he said that they should interrogate every information that they get from social media before posting it. And once again, he's just asking that they should stop having any commercial dealing with IPOB. And
in another development, the spokesperson for the indigenous people of Biafra has said all Biafrans should come home for counting, for the census. He says they keep on saying that the Igbos are only a dot in Nigeria, that they should come. Everybody should leave Lagos and live wherever they are and come home and be counted to show that they are not a dot.
They also mentioned that they would, so that they can provide all the amenities needed within the state within Biafra.
That's if you live in the States. So the
Yeah.
problem is that census is not just for accounting.
Yes.
Census is about resource control. How do we share resources? So if you don't live there, there's no point in being counted there, because when they do resources there, you're not going to be there to use it. So the place, the states where you lived will now have
That's why it doesn't.
shortage.
Yeah.
Because so
They will, what they will be doing will be disenfranchising.
certain
the
people in certain
states.
states. Yeah, so they
Yeah, working
people need to
states.
be, well, the smart ones won't listen to that. All right, let's move in on. Let's find another story. Vanguard. DMO, why government debt is rising as LCCI others list ways out. Obasanjo writes UK court pleads for Ekweremadu and wife. Whitney Adeniran's family, Christian, agreed to conduct independent autopsy. Court stops Abure, others, from parading as LP Exco. Varsities others to get 320 billion naira intervention funds. Easter, FG declares Friday and Monday public holiday. Those questioning legitimacy of Tinubu's victory are sore losers, says APC. Petrol subsidy, FG secures $800 million World Bank fund for palliatives. Peter Obi describes leaked audio as fake, goes to court. And NSIA, Vitol sign agreements for carbon avoidance removal projects. Okay. Are we starting with?
Yes, so President Muhammadu Buhari has approved 320 billion as the 2023 intervention funds for public universities and other tertiary education institutions in the country. The Executive Secretary of the Tertiary Education Trust Fund, Sonny Ekono, disclosed this during the fund's annual strategic planning workshop with all the heads of the beneficiary institutions in Abuja yesterday. And he also said that the meeting was an avenue to receive feedback and evaluate performances of its intervention lines to enhance a more robust delivery of the agency's mandate. So according to him, they have split the money, how it's going to be shared to the higher institutions. The university will be receiving about 1 billion, 1-point-something billion. Polytechnic about 600 and something million. Colleges of education will receive about 800 and something million. And they're saying that they're happy with the approvements of this disbursement, and the guidelines also have been given out. So these tertiary institutions should be awaiting the payment of this money. Yeah.
So I wanted to take Whitney Adeniran's story. The court, the court has granted Chrisland the leave by the magistrate to have access to the toxicology and samples and tests conducted to have an independent forensic evaluation. Yeah, and they have said that the family of Whitney will be present there. The family didn't oppose this arrangement, and so it's going to go ahead as planned.
Oh, no, wow.
So sad. Let me take the story of Peter Obi refuting the audio. He said that the leaked audio is fake and he disowns the content of it. He said all through prior to the campaign, he had not, in a series of tweets, he mentioned that he had at no time said that the election was a religious war. He also mentioned that he's thanking all the youth and Nigerians and obedience that they are remaining focused on the core mission, which is a new Nigeria. He said, not before, during, or after the election is it on record that I've maintained my commitment to focus on issue-based campaign. He says he's already prepared his lawyers to take the case against People's Gazette and others over the claimed audio leak. He said this is an attempt to manipulate Nigerians. It's very sad and wicked. I remember saying another report that he spoke, somebody from his team
Kenneth
accepted.
Okongo had said it was
confirmed that they
So suddenly,
Nigerian Tribune, let's find a story of not taking Kaduna government reinstate 1,288 sacked primary school teachers. The WHO says 1 in 6 people affected globally by infertility. Inspector killed DPO injured as Okada riders attack police in Lagos. FG disburses 320 billion intervention funds and varsities. Court stops a Labour Party chairman, 3 others from parading themselves as national officers. Naira swap hardship, Buhari leaving on a sour note, says Shoyinka. And organ harvesting, Obasanjo writes UK court pleads for Ekweremadu. Okay, which story haven't we taken?
Governor Nasser El-Rufai of Kaduna State has approved the reinstatement of 1,288 public primary school teachers sacked in June 2022. So in a statement, the Public Relations Officer, State Universal Basic Education Board, Hajia Hawa Mohammed, said this on Wednesday in Kaduna, and he said 1,266 teachers who failed the competency test were reinstated, as well as 22 others who were removed from government payroll as a result of the discrepancy. So we know that the board had dismissed these teachers for failure to sit for the test. That's about 2,192 teachers, while 165 teachers were sacked for poor performance. But most of the teachers came back to say that they were not able to do the exams because some of them were sick at the time, and which they provided proof of the sickness. Others said that they were exempted because they were administrative staff, so they weren't able to take the examinations. And after they had, reviewed all of these complaints, they were able to reinstate these teachers back. So I want to say congratulations to teachers that have gotten their jobs back.
Just
Yeah, go ahead, Wake.
yeah, just the Wole Soyinka saying the president is living on a sour note. He said he disenfranchised many Nigerians and impoverished many Nigerians with the Naira swap policy. He said, so he has left a bitter taste in the mouth of millions of us. And that he loved the way some of the governors took the matter to court and obeyed the Supreme Court, that is what true federalism is about.
Okay, that is all we can take on Front Page Review. When we come back, we want our hot topic of the day. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Thanks for staying with us. So it's our Gisting Thursday, and we love to discuss family, relationships, and lifestyle on days like this. Today, we're discussing red flags. Everybody gives this generous phrase, oh, watch out for the red flags. What are the red flags? But who really defines red flags? What exactly is a red flag? How do you even recognize a red flag when you see it? Many people just like to advise us on what red flags is, but hardly give us specific scenarios of what a red flag looks like. And even if you see a red flag, should you break up a relationship because of these red flags? Are there some red flags that you can actually work around? I know I said, are there some red flags we can manage? Because is it not just slapping? Don't worry, you'll be okay. Don't worry, at least it's not beating, at least it didn't beat you. At least you didn't bleed. You did just one slap. Or was it not just shouting? Or was it not just taking something? Little red flags. Are there red flags that we can actually walk around? That's the conversation today. You can call us on the numbers on your screen, 081-270-536-87091. 390-76948. You can also tweet to us at TVC. Can I please hashtag YourViewTVC so we can read your tweet. Ladies, I didn't want us to just mention red flags because the truth is that we live in a culture where people say, listen, out of 100%, if a man has at least 70% or even maybe 60%, at least he has passed. I mean, all the other ones, these are things you can manage. Those other ones, you can work at it. These are things that somehow we can work at it. But how does a young person know what I can work at? What I cannot work at, where he can change. Because I'm going to say, yes, I used to be aggressive as a bachelor. When I met my wife, she softened me up because of her humility. She's a woman of God, her love, her care, all that I changed. So there are testimonies like that. So should we stop a young person say, don't go enter once you see a red flag? Is it enough? Let me start with you, PC.
Okay. My advice would be weigh the red flag according to the intensity of how it affects you as a person and your mental health. Because what would affect my mental health will be different from what would affect your mental health. If, peradventure, I grew up in a house where everybody shouts, we have a very loud voice. When we're speaking, we're screaming, and it's not like we're upset with each other, but that's how we've been communicating. And I start dating someone who is in that space, who is always raising his voice while we're communicating. If a Tokme comes to visit me and he sees how the guy talks to me, she could think, this is a red flag. Why is he shouting at her? But because in my own background, I've been raised to see people and think it's normal to raise your voice when you're speaking. I wouldn't see it as a red flag. So nobody would define or will define what a red flag is to you. You have to define it according to the intensity of how it affects your mental health. Now, there are some red flags that are very obvious to the world when it comes to outright abuse, physical abuse. Mental abuse is just now that people are beginning to pay attention to it. It's actually cut deeper than the physical abuse, but a lot of people don't see it. They'll say, he gave you some bad words, he did it, it's not obvious now, well, manage it now, maybe he was angry. They'll find a way to make excuses. But you have to ask yourself, how does this affect me as a person? Can I flourish in this environment where somebody is constantly talking down at me, where somebody is constantly farting in public when I'm with them, when somebody is constantly monitoring me? Can I survive in this atmosphere? And that also takes you to knowing who you are. Because if you do not know who you are, you do not know what you like and what you don't like, you will not be able to see it at the beginning till it gets worse, right? So if you know who you are, it helps you to say, okay, this. And even if this person scores 80 over 100, but the remaining 20 is so detrimental to you, I would advise you to take a walk. Because we may say in the scoring, it's 80 now. It's not just this one that they are doing, but this one that they are doing can take you to an early grave.
Someone will listen to you and say, it's nice for you to say you have a good husband, family. You know, it's easier for you to say that, especially when things look good for you. Somebody will say the end sometimes justifies the means. At least I have married. At least I have children. Because they'll say, I am 70 years old. If I had listened to all this advice at the age of 30 and not married, maybe I won't have children by now. So at least, yes, I took it. I took all that, and God will compensate me. All that red flag, I would manage it. So at least at 70, I have children who are surrounding my table. That's some of the rationale we think that let us just manage it. At least you have children. Okay.
I don't agree. I don't think that we should say people should cope with whatever just so that they can say they are married. In most cases, it applies to women, but even with men, some men tick the box to say, I'm an only child as a man, my parents are on my case, let me just marry and give my parents grandchildren, even though the woman doesn't in any way catches my fancy, she's not at par with me intellectually.
Lights my fire.
She doesn't even, I don't find her in any way attractive, but she's from a good home. My parents approve her. Let me do this for them. That's not marriage. Marriage is a lifetime journey of companionship that should bring you peace and joy and with a place where you can grow. And if we need to stop that idea that we will do it just for society or we'll manage. It's better to get it right before you get into the relationship in the first place. But many people get married without being self-aware enough to know what is their trigger or what is a red flag. I didn't even, okay, so I knew a red flag because I had been with someone who I felt I was saying something he didn't agree with, and he held my hand. And he held my hand in a very, very painful, firm way. And I wanted to like, why would you hold my hand? And the grip became tighter. I just knew I cannot be in a relationship with someone like this. Like, you can't hold my hand. And he said something about, how can a woman be richer than her husband?
Yeah.
I just took off. But even at that, I don't think, thinking about it now, actually, I was self-aware enough to know because I noticed those two things. But many people don't notice. They just feel like he's a one, or maybe he's in a bad mood, maybe it was a bad day. We need to start preparing our young ones with the intention to, with the idea of what they should look out for. That's in terms of parenting. When you're looking at this man, don't look at a man that is like this. So if a man is raising his hand or is being violent to people around you, he would be violent with you. We need to have those conversations. But the most important point I feel I need to make, which is in contradiction to what you suggested, is that marriage is not the ultimate. We shouldn't marry just to fulfill all righteousness. We should marry because we are ready for that journey. We're ready for the responsibility, and we're ready for the long-term companionship, because there will be issues, of course, but the ones that you can see from the get-go, please open your eyes before you even jump into it in the first place. And there is a long list from the person that initiated this conversation.
So there was a post, and I come to Wike on that, some post about 6 ladies sharing the red flags they had seen that caused them to stop relationships. Some ranging from bullying, excessive control and jealousy, isolation, from friends. A lot of people have experienced that. Emotional abuse, being secretive, monitoring, manipulation, and even anger. So sometimes you meet a guy who just feels that, please, I don't want your friends around, because they just feel like you and I nice about you and I. They start with, it's a me-you relationship. Let's live about your friends. And gradually you realize that all your friends that you used to hang out with, they stop that. But somebody will say, is that enough red flag? I mean, these are some red flags that your mother will say, that's not a red flag. Now, he doesn't want your friends to come around.
He just loves you.
He just loves you. He just loves you. Or a man who comes across as somewhat obsessive, that he doesn't want you going anywhere. When you dress nice, only dress nice inside the house. When you step out, he wants you to look in a certain way so that nobody will see.
And for many people, it's not a red
And your
flag.
parents will be like, he loves you now. Why, let me come to you as a man, as a mother also. What are your thoughts?
There are some, I think that there are some men and women who are very good at concealing their true nature. That's the red flag will not come till you have entered the matter.
Absolutely.
So the real question I think should be is, what do you do when the red flag shows itself after the marriage?
We'll come into that.
Because
Don't rush us.
I know of this girl. Why I said this, because I know of this girl. She married this guy. He was loving and everything. The day they got married like this,
Back down.
all her friends away,
Back down.
everything. When she was going shopping, female security guard, not male, used to follow her. I had met her in the supermarket before with a security guard. As I was talking to her, that one was standing. So we had heard, okay, this girl got married to this guy, and I just looked at her with pity. Because he did not show her that sign before they got married. So maybe there is somebody that can actually tell women, okay, look out for this, because he might not show it now. I mean, I had a boyfriend who, one day, I love to dance. One day I was at Shrine, I was dancing, I was in my 20s, and he just came, and he was standing there, and then someone greeted me, and hey, Yanni, Kiniko. I greeted him. As I just got to him, he just said, Yanni, who was that guy holding you?
Are you serious?
I even felt that. I said, who was that guy holding you by the waist? I just said, that was the last day he ever saw me.
You ran.
What?
Because I was just, the guy, no, just my friend. He was not thinking to me, he was just greeting me.
You're already passing boundary.
Hey, no, what he even said was, I will slap you now. I said, who was that guy? That I will slap you now.
You should be in Nollywood.
But she's in Hollywood, right?
You should be in Nollywood, honestly.
But you see, I think Waike has taken us to the next phase of the conversation.
Yes.
We wanted to start with, what are the red flags?
But
The truth is that many people
It's different.
maybe people take the red flags, or they pretend, or people, they are perfect, they seal or conceal their red flags, and they now enter the marriage. A lot of homes right now, personalities are coming out, and the men are thinking, I didn't realize she was like this, I didn't realize she couldn't cook, I didn't realize, there's a man that cooking is a big deal breaker for them. In the past, maybe she has a busy as a sister who would have cooked up the whole house. When he comes around, she would think that, you've been sleeping in the kitchen, not knowing that it was her older sister that hooked her up. You now enter the marriage, you realize, auntie cannot cook, and you don't want a house help, you know? So there are different things that happen. When you now enter the marriage and now see the red flag, as I said, is it possible that there are some red flags that you can work around if you choose to? Because if you have entered marriage, you have to work with it.
No, you don't have to. But there are some red flags you can walk around. It's in this particular conversation, the red flag is individual, because there's some things that I can tolerate based on, like BC said, my background. If shouting can be a deal breaker for many people, for me, it's a major deal breaker. I don't like it. I didn't grow up in that environment where there's any shouting going on. Even what is not shouting, I'm sensitive to it. I'm like, you can't shout. You know we have an agreement. You can't shout at me. It cannot work. I can't take it. But somebody else is like, what's there? So knowing your personality, if the foundation of that marriage was right, if there was love, if there was true consideration for long-term growth as individuals, there is no red flag you can't walk on. If the person loves you, he will do everything to want to make himself better. Just this, vice versa. So if the foundation was right, every red flag can actually be dealt with. Monitoring. If you love your partner and you realize this monitoring is really stifling my partner, you would tone it down. Every marriage will work if both parties genuinely love each other and want it to work. The challenge is if it is one person feeling the burden of the red flag challenges and the other person is insensitive to your partner's needs. That's where the problem comes in.
I'm going to go on a break. When we come back, I'm going to highlight a few red flags, and we'll take them one at a time, one by one, and see if you can work around it, or if you just say it's a no-no. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Thanks for staying with us. So today, joining the conversation we've had is an actor, actress, an award-winning actor, Nigerian actor with us. She is going to be, she was nominated for the African Movie Academy Awards for Best Actress in Supporting Roles. Welcome with us, Foluke Daramola in the building.
Yo, yo, yo.
After you trended last year, don't worry, we'll come to that matter later. But first, we're gisting about something, and we think it's quite interesting. So it's about red flags in relationships before even entering marriage. Many people, many women and men, you know, we kind of just look over, we don't pay attention to those red flags because we want to get married. The mother says you bring a wife. Yeah. You don't care, and you just let the woman just come. So before you came, we just talked about the various red flags, but now we want to talk about, we want to take them item by item and see if they are deal breakers or we can work around them. So let's start with hygiene. Should hygiene be a red flag where you have a guy who's dirty, he doesn't return the toilet seat down, or he leaves it up, whatever, or he doesn't bath, 5 days doesn't bath, or there are men like that, or there are even women who are not clean. Do you think hygiene is a red flag? Like,
if you are a clean person, yes. If you are dirty like him, carry go.
But do you think you can learn, you can teach hygiene, you can teach?
Please, because, Mariah, before we go further in, is this a red flag or not for the general public, I'd like to highlight here that red signifies danger.
Okay.
So when it's a red flag, you cannot walk around it. And that's why you cannot categorically say this should be a red flag and that should not be. Because like you mentioned, what is a red flag for one is not a red flag for another. So if it's a red flag for you, it is something that signifies danger, 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 and you cannot walk around it. Secondly, the human mind and body is not wired to lie and pretend long term. Unfortunately for us, we have not mastered the art of listening to our intuition. So you see what happened in YK's story, where the guy said, "Who is that man holding you by the waist?" Some people will say, that guy loves me.
Paying attention.
Oh, he loves me. He will not even allow. And then we get into that relationship, and tomorrow they start collecting slaps. But she listened to her intuition to say, this kind of person will definitely stifle me and not allow me to do what I want to do. So we must begin to pay attention. There is no sign that does not show you before you get into the relationship. The only thing is we ignore it, we don't listen to our intuition, and then we get into the relationship. So that's why I said, let me put it out there here.
Let's not break it into three.
Yeah.
There's a red flag, there's an amber flag, there's a green flag. So we'll categorize them.
Yeah.
So let's start. Let me come to you. What are your thoughts on this red flag before we go into?
First and foremost, I would say it happened to me. When I wanted to enter my first marriage, the signs were there. Even though my partner then was just hushing me into the marriage, and I'm like, my friends are getting married. Yeah. All the signs were there. All the signs were there, anger issues, blah, 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 but it was just hushing me to, okay, let's just do it,
And you overlooked those.
And I overlooked it.
Entered the
and I immediately, when I entered, my first experience was my wedding night.
Yeah.
You understand? So I had to stay there because of the fact that what would people do, what would people say, blah, blah, blah. You understand? But my night, because I got a broken seam that you have to change your seam and blah, blah, blah. And that was it. So, but because I was so in a hurry to be married, I was just like, okay, let me just be married. Let me be married. You understand? I saw the signs of abuse. I saw the sign that you get easily angered, and then he didn't want me to do anything. He would say, well, who are you talking with? This. But I was like, don't worry. He can manage things up. He will change, blah, 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 blah. You understand? So these are signs that is a major red flag.
On that wedding night,
you can't
so
ignore
not just you, but if a woman discovers on the wedding night a major red flag, should she annul? Or should she go ahead? Because many women have that problem. That what would people say?
You're American.
They
don't use to annul like that.
Exactly.
I'm just saying that. So when a woman enters and discovers that night, you can still have an
it's
opportunity.
not easy.
It's not
But a wedding, it was a society wedding that was that big and everything, and everybody in Lagos was there, and then you understand. So for you now to say you want to back out, it's not easy.
You would
You
think
They will
understand?
say you're a witch.
All right, so let's go back to hygiene, for example. What kind of flag is hygiene? Is it an amber flag? Is it a red or is it a green flag? Because the truth is that, can you manage a woman,
I think
or
it's
a man
amber.
who has hygiene issues?
I think it's amber. And I think that because the growth is possible for everybody. Hygiene is something that can is so external that it can easily be changed. It's about now working with each other. If you truly love this person and you feel that this is an issue that is obvious to the world, but the person doesn't know, then we take the person through trainings to help the other person understand that, okay, these are the things you should do to help you. Maybe you have halitosis, we would help you with that one. We would work on all the areas. It's amber. You can easily overlook it.
It's amber. Let me add.
If the person is also willing.
Yeah,
Exactly.
So you need the person to be willing.
Proud to accept that there's a problem.
Yeah. So you have to pick the personality of the person you're marrying to understand that we're going to be working as a team. And I know that this person listens to me. So if I bring this up, he will not take offense. We will work through it. There are men that will say no. And
I think it is green if both of you are dirty.
exactly.
Yeah.
Okay, let's go to frequent lies. There's always lying. So, for example, he says, where were you yesterday? Oh, I was with my boys. And then you find out that he actually went out with maybe his mom. He doesn't want to tell you that he's the mama's boy. So he's always lying about something, doesn't tell you, disclose about his business, how much money he's earning. He doesn't tell you a lot of things. He's just very secretive like that. Is that amber, red, or green?
I think lie is red.
It's red.
Yes, because if they can lie in the little, they will lie in much. Don't expect somebody who lies easily for little things. So there was a time I was working somewhere, and we had this colleague who was a pathological liar. She would lie with the very obvious things. You saw her just exchange money to buy something for 1.5, and you ask her now, and she'll tell you it's 10.5. It was that bad. And by the time we heard some things about her relationship, we realized that it's been going on the man is tired. Like, you didn't need to lie about even this one. Yeah, so it's a major red flag because you don't know to the extent this lie can go. She can even lie with her age to even the husband.
But if it's a mental problem, there's a reason somebody is lying. Not because she really wants to be a liar. Something caused it. There's probably something in her background that triggers that lie. So as a husband, as a man who loves this girl, should you be able to say, I can work with you, so you don't have to keep lying. You keep lying about this. What happened? Can you help her?
You know what? You know, because it's a psychological thing, and because it's something that person has been used to. And guess what? There's this saying that said that when you tell a lie, you have to cover the lie with several other lies.
Yes.
You understand what I'm trying to say? At some point, a liar becomes embarrassed and say, how do I tell this person that this, and this? Because you've told so much lies that you don't know where to draw the line.
I love you so much. I'm willing to work with you. I'm willing to remind you that you don't have to always lie. I'm as a man, I'm willing to, or as a woman, I'm willing to work with you that you don't have to lie to me. I love you. Can't you? So would you say really lying is red?
It's red because the Bible says, can the two work together except they agree?
For me, it's red.
Do you
It may be
understand?
green.
Because a
Some
lot
people
of
will
people
lie
to some
too.
people.
It could be amber.
Amber for some
It
people.
could be amber to some people because the person is a liar. So if I am lying to you and then you are lying to me, then we can be ambering each other.
No. Which kind of marriage is that?
No, but there are
Both
marriages
of them
where
are liars.
the husband is building in the village, the wife is building in the city.
They
Both
don't
of them look at themselves, they smile, they are happy with their marriage,
it's green
but
for
they are
them.
both doing things
No,
that they are keeping things aside.
Those are the
you
kind
know.
of people that spoil Nigeria. Two liars. It's red on all fronts.
For reasons best known to them, they've
Yes.
had previous
Experiences,
relationships
yes.
that they see that when they are truthful, it gets
doesn't
back
work.
to them. So and they feel that it's safer for them
I guess
to
it
just
depends on
keep
that. Let's take substance abuse.
Ah.
Now, substance is in different categories. There's smoking, there's alcohol, there is the marijuana, and there are the other ones. Look at them, they've gone quiet.
Any form of addiction.
Any form of addiction,
Is-
substance abuse.
Yeah.
Is that amber?
Any form, so for me, any form of addiction is red because I married really early. Imagine if I had married and started doing, instead of focusing on building a home and all that, where I'm carrying you to the hospital, I'm trying to seek for prayers. I'm
No,
trying
it's alcohol. For example, can you be addicted to I mean, you
can be
yeah,
addicted to
alcoholism,
alcohol,
yes, but
Yes, so that's why I said any form of addiction, whether it's alcohol, whether it's sex, or whatever it is, any form of addiction. I wouldn't want to start out a relationship and start doing the work parents are supposed to do for their children. Right? I want to marry a whole human being and be a whole human being. So for me, it's a red. I can't do that work, right? I'm not a rehabilitation center, I'm sorry.
Right.
Excuse me, which one is sex addiction again?
Okay.
Some people are,
She said sex addiction.
That's the problem.
For instance, I'll make reference to my first marriage. I was coming from a place of I was raped. I lost my virginity to rape. So sex to me was punishment. And then the person I got married to was someone that would want it every time. So it was as if he was beating me. It was as if I was not a touch. The moment I'm going home, I'm afraid. I'm scared.
She should have fixed herself before entering that marriage.
But not like that. The point is, if there is trauma, which is she had trauma. So what the man might not have be a sex addict. It might just be like a healthy sexual appetite.
just a big
But you are now in a relationship with someone who has gone through trauma. But if the foundation was right, in our own case, she has explained that the foundation wasn't right. Foundation was right. It would have been a case of let's go for counseling, let's go for coaching, let's get some help. I can notice that there's a problem. Everything can be worked. Almost everything can be worked through if the parties have the right character to manage the situation. Everything we're seeing as red flag. Okay, anger management. Someone that I brought up in a very violent home and she's really violent. And then they take the person to therapy. The person sees how horrible what they're doing is. And they start working on themselves. They can be the sweetest, loving person. But it's about the willingness of the partner to be able to seek treatment. Many people don't want to. They are blind to their faults and they get defensive when somebody tells them, you are doing something wrong. Oh, you're smelling. Or I think you should take your bath. Or I think that you are being angry.
So, going back to substance abuse, because these are with girls, we meet guys at clubs. You meet a guy, he's there smoking marijuana in one corner, the cool guy buying all the vodka, the champagne.
Average bad guy.
The bad guy, the Yoruba demons.
Bad guy.
There. So at that moment, he's a cool guy. He asks you out, you guys are dating, and now you're not getting sick.
Even the smoke is
The smoke
nice.
is also, it makes it cool. Because you're smoking in air conditioner, everything is looking all nice and cool. And then you're not getting to the point where you want him to meet your parents, and now,
You now want to
settling
start
down.
training him to
And now-
stop.
Yeah.
Are you not deceiving yourself?
So it goes back to substance abuse. So substance abuse, is it a deal breaker? Is it a red flag? Or is it something we can work around?
It is.
It depends on,
Amber.
I think,
It
the
is
individual.
red
They do.
for me.
You. But
Yes.
to another person,
It
could
may be amber or green.
Green.
Because there are women that actually do
Smoke, yeah.
Everything.
So, yeah.
They do everything.
fine. So it
Yeah.
depends
Let's
on
not
the
even just pinpoint one.
Yeah.
So here's the thing about substance abuse. It is that it alters your character. Substance abuse can take someone who is sweet, kind, loving, and transform the person into a violent, wicked person, irrational. So while we say exploring some substances, but the abuse of substance must be a red flag to everybody. Once you see that this person, it might just even be ordinary, like I'm drinking wine, but the person cannot control himself. I knew someone that was trying to date me as a young girl, a very, very professional, amazing person, and whenever he drinks red wine, he will sleep in the car.
Just
Like, He said all the time, he said once he drinks, he won't even finish one bottle. He will just go to the car and sleep till the next day. So it's not this volume of the drink. It is that he doesn't have the ability to manage it. That already is abuse. So such person's character is different. So imagine I marry that person. Hey. You know, he could just come and say, "I dey island, oh, now I sleep off for inside car. Now this morning I dey come house." So that was definitely a red flag. So the abuse.
If it doesn't have an accident anyway.
Yes, abuse might lead to change in personality that you cannot deal with. So you might like the person, but you don't like the person they become when they abuse drugs.
Okay, interesting. I need to ask about physical abuse.
Ew.
Now, before you just
That one is a red flag.
Before you start judging, there are some people today they'll say, your father only gave me one slap, but I stayed. I didn't leave. I stayed. And today, you are all graduates, you are all lawyers and doctors. I stayed that marriage. So it's not every slap you get and you walk out.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Thanks for staying with us. We're discussing red flags today, and the last one we talked about is physical abuse. I know people can easily say, oh, that's a red flag, but we've seen people who say that, well, one slap, okay, maybe one push, you know, it's not so bad, but to modern women, we just say, no, I don't care, I have to go, let me come to you. Is it red, amber, or green light?
Green.
I know it's definitely not green. Was it amber or red?
Red.
I think it's red for you,
Definitely red.
Even if it's just a push.
Let me tell you something. When your partner starts, they never stop.
True.
It's something that most people that does that have been abused one way or another. So they are victims. So it's something that when you start with pushing the head, slapping a bit, and then the person condones it, and it builds up, and it builds up. And guess what? People will say, it's abuse, they didn't kill the person. It's worse than killing. I'm talking from experience. When you've been abused emotionally, when you get people to tell you things like, you can never get anybody like me. I'm the best thing that could happen to you. That is a major psychological abuse. And when you get people to be, when I was living my life, I left with no form of self. I was like a dead man. Yeah. You understand? My whole brain was dead. So the truth of the matter is when you say it can be managed or it's just a push, I say no.
I get that. So some would say, for example, we built a home together. We have a lovely house. Our kids are going to a beautiful school. We travel abroad every summer. We are a happy couple. It was just one anger. So something happened. I'm frustrated at work. Things just really got bad. And you came in my face. So I hit you, not because I really want to hit you, but I hit you once. Now, should the woman start saying, you hit me once, so they said that once you hit me, that is it, I start living? Or is it something we can discuss and talk around?
Okay. Are you saying he didn't beat before the marriage? It's just one day during the marriage?
Yes.
Well, it depends on your tolerance level, I think. If you think, and then it doesn't happen again. But in most cases like that, once they beat you once, they might beat you again. So it depends on your tolerance level.
So I think you train what you tolerate.
I didn't leave my husband when he slapped me. It was because I warned him, go, if you ever try it again, go dead. And he took that warning as a very serious warning. So he never tried again. It wasn't that slap that broke up our marriage.
But other things.
I get it somewhere.
Yeah.
I think
You train what you tolerate. Now, one thing with abusers is that they push boundaries. They test you. You think they don't have fear. They actually have fear. They are afraid, but they don't know how to back down once they start testing you and you are allowing them. So today they push you, you allow it. Tomorrow it graduates to they slap once, you allow it. Next tomorrow they punch 2 times, you allow it. The next time they'll carry cane, hit you to the point you get to the hospital, you allow it. You make excuses for them because of the so-called love you're feeling. While you're making that excuses, you're getting bonded to them. there's a trauma bond happening where you're falling more in love with your abuser. It's now affecting you aside from the physical. It's going to your psychological and mental. You are being attached to it. And it becomes even
they'll
more
beg you,
difficult.
they'll cry and
Yes,
beg you.
it becomes more difficult to separate. And that's why you see, you come and solve a case of domestic abuse and the next minute the woman has carried her bag and gone back. She's not going back for her children. Let's not deceive ourselves. She's not going back for herself. She's going back because she's already addicted to the pain and love connection. So there's a pain and love connection that brings you together when abuse is done and apology comes afterwards. Abuse is done, apology comes after. You are training your brain to attach a form of joy from pain. That's what they get attracted to, and that's why they keep going back.
Let me take this call. Let me take this call. Kelechi from Shashak, you're live. So sorry for keeping you. Go ahead, please.
Hello, can you hear me?
You're live, yes. Go ahead, please.
Okay, let me start by saying congratulations to you women. I was part of the 10th anniversary work you did.
Oh, yes. I met you, Kelechi.
Thank you very, very much. I like your analysis. In fact, I want to go on when this program came up. I like the analysis of my sister from another mother, DC.
Oh, thank you.
But I want to ask Tope a question. Tope said something that there's nothing, based on the red flags, what you consider red flags, green flags, and amber. Tope said something. In fact, he almost answered the question. He said that it depends on the couple, the partner. He said there's nothing that cannot be managed. And it is true based on the partner, based on the agreement of the partner. But she kind of deviated. When Morayo asked her about physical abuse, substance abuse, and she said that one is a red flag to her because that one distorts characteristics and somebody's personality, which is true. I want to ask you, can't it be managed? Because there are some people today, their characters have been distorted as a result of abuse of substances. Today they are back through counseling and all that. Can counseling change the personalities that are distorted by abuse of substances? That's what I want to ask.
Okay. Thank you, Kelechi.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
So I'm going to answer it also with the question concerning physical violence in the way you asked it, that you've had a sweet marriage all through and maybe the man lost his job and then there's so much pressure or he's being excessively aggravated at work and you just gave him small hits that you did not think could be a trigger and it led to beating. You would judge a person based on the majority of who they are and their willingness to change. So if majority of this person is kind, sweet, loving, supportive, and one day something just triggered him, very unusual behavior, he goes violent, you know that, okay, you have not been like this since forever. This is a major deal breaker for me. Seek help if you want this marriage to continue. If he agrees to seek that help, then we have a marriage. If he doesn't agree to seek the help, then it's a deal breaker, it's a red flag. Same thing with drug abuse. If someone is 80%, 90% very stable, and when he started using drugs, things started going bad for that person, then we will say, this is a deal breaker for me. Seek help. If he does not seek help. You see, the real thing is,
willingness.
Many people are not willing to seek help.
Yeah.
And that's why marriages break up. It is an unreconcilable difference. What does that mean? It means that both of us refuse to seek the necessary help to make the marriage work. It's that simple. Yeah. If we're open to seeking help and getting professional help, we might have less divorce and more beautiful marriages.
Fantastic. Well said.
Good.
What of snoring?
Snoring.
Which type of snoring? Generator sounding one.
Yeah, I've never experienced
or the Okada sounding one.
Yeah, so snoring.
Even this morning, I had to tap him. Oga, it's too loud. Change your position.
So that is not a red flag.
So when I got pregnant, I didn't know I started snoring. Yeah. So one day he told me, baby. I started again, baby. When I woke up in the morning, I said, you were disturbing my sleep. What happened? I said, you have started snoring. And I know it's the pregnancy. But please, just try and be changing your body. So I don't think he would have said, okay, I'm going to, after all, I'm picking and carry away, make me this.
So snoring is amber
to green.
Amber to green.
We all snore at some point.
You go to a different room.
Yes. Put stockings in his mouth.
Let me take Tunde from Agodo. Good morning, Tunde. Are you there? Thanks for calling.
Hello, good morning.
You're live. Go ahead, please.
Yeah, please, I just want to seek your advice I don't know which category this question I want to ask, whether red, whether green or amber. How about the spouse that's been married for quite a while? Then if you tell her something, if you tell her this is white, I should be telling you this is black. She won't agree with you until the outsider came in and they will tell you this is white. And you continue on and on for a while now. You can imagine, let me tell you an instance. Going to the airport to pick a brother. At the airport, they wrote no parking, no movement, keep moving. And she said you should stop at that point. Immediately I parked. All these airport staff came. They clapped my car. I was annoyed. I couldn't see anything. I kept cool on the steering. Then she started kneeling down and begging them, all these small boys. I don't know how much she paid them, maybe 5,000 or 10,000. And this has been continuing on and on. What kind of situation is that?
All right, thank you, Tunde, for that. That's an interesting angle. I remember I had that complaint many years ago when I was complaining. It was RDJ that advised me. I told RDJ, whenever I advise him, Brown, he doesn't listen to me. He's always an outsider. I would tell him exactly the same thing I've said that he'll not listen to. RDJ told me something that I think I've shared here several times. He said, you have to earn his respect. There's something you're doing that is causing him to respect you. You earn his respect to the point where anything you say, he will listen. Find the thing that you've been procrastinating about.
And do it.
And start doing it. Yeah. That period, I was procrastinating about, oh, I want to lose weight, I want to lose weight. And because my husband is an exercise buff, I just started trying to do that. Then we started YourView. No, YourView had already started. There were about 2 or 3 things. Okay, I wanted to pray in the morning. I wanted to do something, and I'll wake up with him. My husband is praying, I won't answer him, I'll be sleeping. He'll be complaining. How can you be sleeping? Then I started waking up. Let me just wake up at 5. I'll go and pray with him because I prefer to wake up and then and pray. But he will wake up very early and be scabashing. So he had a serious issue. But gradually, I started listening to him. I started earning his respect. After a while, when I talk to Brown, he listens. So that was my own moral advice. So it might not be the only solution to everybody's advice, but that's what Harry just told me years ago. And then I started listening to what he wants, and gradually, and I was earning his respect. It took from years. But now we have a conversation that when we talk, we agree a lot of time. That's my own solution, but it might not be your own solution.
I think that it is actually a very powerful solution that we don't know.
I would take for granted.
Yes, because after you said it, for me it was opposite. I just always believed some other people. When I married my husband, he was always reading self-development person, and he got into marriage and he just focused on making money, and he no longer was reading books. So when he was advising me, I'd be like, you don't read, you're telling me to read. So it lost a bit of that respect from me. So I wasn't taking his advice because I felt like he wasn't practicing. You are giving me principles that you read 10 years ago. When was the last time you opened a book to read? In my mind. But he started his journey back towards self-development. And I started seeing changes in him. He became more disciplined on many areas. And he earned my respect again without even knowing. So now we're in a place for the past 2 years that I respect him so much more than I did even when we got married. And he didn't know that he even lost respect or he got it back.
Because he didn't show it.
Because I did not. So this but it was just in my mind. I just felt like, you don't have a right to tell me about this. You're being hypocritical about it. But he's earned it back.
So that's the same. So he could
might need to look at the areas of his life that he procrastinated about. Yes. Your hypocrisy.
Yes, when you start doing it, your wife will start listening to you.
She told him to park.
That is not like a place where that's an example now. These are different things because she would have listened to him if she just felt that you know what you're talking about. If you know your husband knows what you're talking about,
he listened to her. She said park.
Okay, more complicated matter now.
This is okay.
I think I have a caller. Good morning. Are you there? Okay, I thought I had a caller. Okay, so there's another one I want to talk about. I think there's one that caught my attention. I thought I was snoring already. Not sexually active. You're not supposed to know that now before marriage.
Amber,
you're not supposed to know that, but just in case you know.
But
if somebody he or she doesn't like bedroom activity at all.
It's not again. It's red for
me. Is it amber?
Amber.
Is it green?
It's red.
Why you're thinking? Why you're thinking about? Let me take this call.
I don't know if I say it. Wahala don't boss.
All right, so
she says it's red.
Is it red for you? So, like I said in the beginning, you have to look at your personality, look at yourself, and determine what is red for you. And why it's red for me is I can't walk around that. That is something that gives life and joy.
Again.
I cannot walk around it. We all kind of walk around to do around it.
Because you don't have an alternative.
I don't have an alternative right now. I'm not meant to. I'm not wired to have an alternative. So it's got to be there.
Some might differ. I beg to differ.
That's your
different people. I think the activity is overrated sometimes.
Yeah, for you.
I didn't jump in. I allowed you to talk.
Let her land her own.
Some people would tell you that for me, it's a great act. Thank God for it. But I don't think it's a deal breaker.
And you born
For
for
me, I'm on that
She
same
born
page.
4 children.
She has 4 kids.
Immaculate
There's twins there.
conception.
No, I'm talking about there are twins there. But I think we put so much. It's good. But I think we put so much emphasis on this sexual activity. It's not.
For you.
Let me say why I say it's amber. It's amber because it can be worked on.
Right.
It's amber because marriages go through a period when it is fire, and then it becomes
Down
cool. And so because of that fluctuation period, I believe that it can be amber. But I also think that if we don't analyze the situation, we might be missing out on trauma. Sure. And if you don't deal with the trauma, you might end up losing a beautiful relationship with someone who is amazing, but just has to deal with the trauma of the past. So that's how I feel like it is, Amber. Your new marriage now is totally different.
My thoughts is, for me, is green. Because, coming from where I'm coming from, it's something that...
You would prefer them
just
not to be...
Exactly. So I'm okay with it, I can go without it for 6 months.
Wow.
It's because of the fact that my introduction to it was not so fantastic. I had to even enjoy it, I had to go through psychiatrist. So for me, it's not a problem. It just works with me. It's not something that I will go out of my way to say, oh, no, because no. It's
not a deal.
Okay, let's try not being spiritual. You're a Christian, for example, and you've met this guy or this girl, and she's just fantastic, she's great, but she's not gym. She doesn't go for night vigil, she doesn't go for, she doesn't go for midweek service, or doesn't go to church. She's not the, our daddy, or yes, daddy, daddy, mommy, She's just a regular person. Do you think that's a deal breaker? Is that a red? That, my pastor would never approve of this. My pastor or my mother, mommy in the Lord would never allow this. Or can I manage? Or doesn't matter, we just fall in love and we move on. Where do you?
Okay, so let me jump in. It's not a deal breaker for me. I think that religiosity, the religious activities, do not in any way affect the character of a person. Fantastic. A person can be very religious, pray in the morning, pray in the afternoon, pray at night, and then he was dishing you, after prayer, he will dish you blows. After the second prayer, dish you blows. The person can be stealing and be going to church. It can be, do you know how many people steal within church system? Yeah. Workers in church, pastors that are conniving. My husband sells IT products, and he was shocked to tell me one day, it's not a gym, and that's how I'll go there. And he came back and he was so surprised. He said, this is a pastor. And the pastor in the church was telling him to inflate figures of a contract. He cannot imagine. Why would someone... And I said, that's the way of the world. He's a human being. So I am not in any way moved by those things, because I've had, as a date, when I was dating, my husband wasn't a prayer warrior, be Jimmy, praying in the morning, fasting and prayer, but he has strong values, like very strong values. His moral compass is extreme. Even me that I'm a Christian, if you give me, if God can bless in different ways. And my husband will be like, how can you be willing to do this? Like, so for me, it was that I looked at the value beyond
and not the religious,
spiritual display.
Sir, I'm robber. They go church before prayer. Pastor go pray for him, make the operation
be successful.
And he will go and kill people and come back for prayer.
These are extreme.
So, I'm totally on Tokwe's page here. That whether you are a prayer warrior or not.
My own perspective is that I'm going to cite another example. My best friend male got married to my best friend female.
Nice.
Now, my best friend male is a Muslim, strong Muslim that does his prayers
5 times
regularly.
And my friend male is a CSC member.
Female friend.
Female.
And
they've been married for 10 years.
Wow.
Guess what? When my friend, because I introduced them together, when my female friend said, Foluke, so who do you think? I had 3 guys that were my kids for her.
Oh.
I had a guy that was a Christian, blah, 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 blah. But I told her, I said, this person would not work. I said, how do you deal with this religion? But I know that this is the right person for you.
Wow.
How do I mean? They are living perfect. My friend Male allows them to go to church. He does his prayers, and everybody is okay. So what do I mean? Back to what you're saying, it has to do with personality.
Okay.
It's a personality thing.
Okay, so we need to understand first of all that we are spiritual beings having a physical experience. Religion has taught us the other way. So it seems like we are human beings trying to find a spiritual experience. And that's why people are going to several places to get that feel of that connection. We have swapped it. Now, as a spiritual being who believes that you're here for more than just what you see see that you constantly work on developing yourself. And that's where the character comes into play. So I would advise any young person, it's not about the religious activities. It's not about the whatever religion you're doing, the showing up, the prayers and all of that. It's not about that. It's about the essence of your character after you have finished your practice. So you look beyond, you go to church 5 times, you go to the mosque 7 times, you go to your traditionalist 17 times. And how does this person treat his or her neighbors, his parents, his friends? When people are not looking, what does he do? Those are the things that you have to pay attention to so you don't miss it.
That's it. This is a very controversial one I'm about to take now.
Hey.
Family and cultural, ethnic, tribal issues.
Ew.
So it's a major problem where a Yoruba person wants to marry an Efik, or an Igbo person wants to marry a Hausa. You know, those inter-tribal marriages. For some people, is it a red flag? Is it an amber, or is it a green light? I mean, would you? I've known somebody.
Green light for me.
For me, I know somebody that wanted to marry. I think it's a family member. He wanted to marry from a family in the East, and they were dating for some few years. The girl never told her parents that she was dating this Yoruba boy. He's actually a cousin, I think. You know, she never told. I mean, she doesn't know she was dating a guy. So, but she thought her parents. She gave them an Igbo name. You know, so, you know, but the Igbo that schooled abroad, you know, so they were able to brand it. So once in a while when they see them, just think, this is not now, just come back kind of guy. But when it was now time for marriage, they didn't allow him.
Wow.
The family said, nope, she had to go and find somebody from her own tribe.
Wow.
So for her, she was willing to go all the way. And in fact, the pastors got involved. Because the pastor said, I can't join you until I have your father's blessing. So there was a major problem for her to get married because she didn't really care. She was going to say, I don't live in the East. I live in Lagos, so I don't care. She was going to stay with him. But the pastors were not going to join them until they got that parents' blessing. And unfortunately, they had to break it off. I mean,
I think that's really sad.
Very sad.
I think it's really sad. I think we need to live past that tribal or, you know, we need to stop it. For me, it's not a deal breaker. It's not a deal breaker.
Yeah.
I don't care where you're from, as long as you are, I love you and you love me.
Period.
For me, it's not a deal breaker, obviously. I am Tokwe Makodige, so I married someone from Edo, and it was a bit of a challenge with my parents, but it wasn't really about where, a little bit about where it's from. Maybe if you spoke Yoruba, my mom's major concern was that I have an in-law I can't communicate with well. I would have to be speaking English every time I want to talk to your husband, and I'm not she didn't like that. She also felt like the previous relationship she's had, that her cousins or family friends that have married from Yoruba to Edo, it was terrible. I said, so let's not look at that. Deal with this person one-on-one, individually. And I had to fight and inform, lobbied everywhere to get them. And my parents are pretty liberal, so at the end of the day, they were convinced. But a friend of mine was supposed to get married at the same time I did in 2010. And the parents said no, and she couldn't fight it. She believed, she just felt that my parents said I must marry a Yoruba person. Sadly, she's still single till today.
I was going to say
and
that.
the guy really, it was, in our case, the guy was Igbo, and the guy really loved her. I felt like, maybe you don't love him, But
Enough.
the guy really loves you. You can fight for this relationship to work. You can fight it.
Yeah.
But she didn't. She bowed to the pressure of her parents. She's still single. I feel that we shouldn't allow for me, it's a green. Like the green is even very, is a neon green. It's shining so bright. Go ahead.
There shouldn't be barriers. There shouldn't be barriers when it has to do with emotions. Because you just never can tell that chemistry, where that chemistry is coming from.
The Chinese,
and the moment you lose it,
you may not find it again.
You understand? Yeah, so the truth of the matter is you can't say because of the fact that somebody is a Igbo or Hausa, so because of that you have to restrict your emotions to the fact that I have to be. What if you don't even flow with your tribe's person?
Yes.
So people are like that.
You can't help with the love.
Yeah.
You understand? So you can't help it with love. So
okay, I think we've covered that very well. Let me move on quickly.
But Mariah, about if families deal breakers if you are marrying into a family that you like the man or
but
you
they
like
don't
the
like
woman,
you.
But you don't like his family.
But you don't like the family. The families are they are wondering how did they give birth to this angel?
Or the fact that the man is the breadwinner
of the family. That can also be.
Should that be a red flag?
No, I don't think that.
If the man is the breadwinner or he's the sole provider of the
that's sole provider. You understand?
Is that a red flag?
Is this supposed to be a problem?
It's not a problem for me.
It shouldn't be a problem for some people.
It's a problem because most of the time,
the burden.
if when he starts having his family and then the things that he was meant to be doing or he's been doing in the past is is being cut short, it becomes a problem.
So for you,
and then the woman becomes the victim.
What if the mother-in-law doesn't like you? Because a lot of times the spouse, the mother doesn't like the woman.
That's an important conversation.
Red for me.
Is that so? When the family of your intended spouse doesn't like you, that'd be a red flag. Because in modern times, it's like you're not marrying my family. You know, back then you're marrying the whole family. Like they're telling you today in 2022. No, you're not marrying the whole family.
You're still marrying the whole family.
You and I will move to Canada. We'll move to London. You know, we don't have to be with them.
This is Africa. And in marriage, anything can happen that issues swing both ways. So if I had married just you, I'm not marrying the family, right? And you start misbehaving tomorrow, who do I cry to? I don't have a mother-in-law that will listen to me. You see, I've lost those battles. I told myself when we're getting ready for marriage, before I went to the house, and I said, if your mom doesn't like me, see, any love I feel right now, I'm going to kill it. And he was like, relax now. I said, if your mom doesn't like me. Fortunately, when I got there, she liked me, right? If she did not like me, trust me, I will not be there. Because
can it be Amber, where you still... So you might see, she might be judging you from where she's coming from. Maybe she had, this is how people like this are. She's schooled abroad. We don't want that kind of person that will be rude. You know, she had her own preconceived notions about you. But then, if you as a humble person comes forward, meet her, be kind to her, be a good wife, be a good husband, eventually, maybe you might win them over, because there have been times where people win families over. In the beginning, they didn't like you.
You want me to be working twice as hard.
Yes.
I'm working for love, for my relationship. I will still be working for your family too. See, not everybody has energy for some type of stress. Yes. So I just push away the stress I don't want to deal with and focus on the person that will come. And everybody, when they see me, the joy in their face, Bisi has come
missing the love of your life.
I did not miss, fortunately, for
that is you. But a woman might miss the love of her life if she's not willing to work.
I think it's really important for the parents to like you. It's because my cousin, her father-in-law just died. And, you know, just before he died, he was calling for her. Where is Sandra? Where is Sandra? He was calling. That shows you that he loved her.
Yes, that's
a
sweet relationship to have. Because
so it's very important to have...
But he might not have loved Sandra in the beginning.
So, Mariah, let me tell you why I feel it is red. I support the... You know,
so it's not Amber to you.
It's not Amber to me. There are places...
Amber for you.
So there are places where it can be Amber. But for me, it is red. Especially if they are expressive in their dislike of you.
Love,
or if they are someone that express, I cannot marry into a family that is our family. I don't know how to say it to you. That causes elekpe. I cannot marry family that you wake up in the morning, they are cursing you, they are insulting you. Then every morning I'll be kneeling down to people, I'm praying for my marriage, I'm praying for my, I'm already praying for my in-law, I'm praying for my in-law to please. Marriage is hard enough without in-laws being your enemy.
When you come to
see you
and
ease. No.
The reason why I say amber is because sometimes there are peculiar situations.
Yeah.
For instance, maybe the mother-in-law, maybe just has the son and she's attached to the son, and then it's gradual for her to get used to the fact that I have to, there's a wife coming in, you understand? Or maybe you have a guy that's like, maybe his sister is very, very close to his sister, falls in love with his sister. Definitely, we are all human beings. There's a tendency that they get jealous. But at some point, they'll just loosen up on their
that's another case.
That's what I mean by
so let's not always assume that once they don't like you, automatically is a red flag. In some cases, maybe. But in some cases, it could be amber where you know where the money is coming from, and you can have to work around it. Okay, we are running out of time. Final one. Let me see. There's so many. I'm trying to pick the one that I... Okay, this one. When your spouse or your intended spouse is too passionate about their work and career. Like this person is a workaholic. Yes, the money comes in.
No, it's green.
Easier said.
Let me paint the scenario. Okay, paint it. Yes, he works hard. He has a nice house. He has a car. But those nice times of conversation, the connection, the love, it's not there all the time. You don't have that
conversation when you're hungry, yeah?
So the thing
you can't buy gari,
your personality will determine if it's amber or not. There are people who their love language is quality time. For that sort of woman, this will be red because you need that time to have that conversation, that massaging of the feet and all of that. For some people, money is their love language. As long as you're out there working, I'll be here holding down the fort. When you come once in a week, once in 2 months,
the wife?
once in...
Flip it. Flip it. What if it's the wife that is a workaholic?
Okay. Yeah.
And you as a guy, you just like the go to normal 9 to 5, no extra hustle, just do your 9 to 5. But the woman is the one that is constantly doing, and she's hustling, but she's working. The money is coming in, but she's working so hard. Is that a red flag?
For me, it's a lot of time. Most time you find out that it's that thing that you love the most that now becomes a problem to you. Before marriage, you already see that this person is a workaholic.
Yeah.
You already see that this person...
That's probably what attracted you.
That's what attracted you in the first instance. So now you are now trying to revolt against it when you see that it's becoming too much.
A problem.
Do you understand? So for me, it's not a red flag for me. It's an amber because it's something that before you walk into it, you have to understand.
But as an actor, you know, you're always, you guys go on set and there's some production that is like production. That can be a challenge. For me, the answer is an amber. Amber for me because I know that if there is love, I can work with it. We can work on it and find a balance. And I can be a workaholic. So I won't want a relationship where the person you're married to is not allowed to fully express what gives them joy. It's now about you compromising to find the middle ground where you prioritize me and I prioritize you.
The truth to me, as an actor, let me just answer that for an actor. For an actor, I am privileged to be in the marriage I am in. If I say today that, Claudia, I'm going to vacation for a month. Okay, take care, bye-bye. In the worst case scenario, if he feels that he's missing me too much, he'll say, okay, I'm coming to meet you where you are or something. So for me, that's why I say it's an amber, but it's just that you have to be able to define
what it is
before you enter into that relationship. Because if you don't define it, then it becomes the red flag.
Okay, so I think in a nutshell, that's all we can take on this. I think in a nutshell, red flags are peculiar to people. It depends on how you see it. And it can be, so you guys, there are so many other points that we can take another day, but the point is that everybody decides what's amber to them, what's red and what's green. You decide, but you must be mature enough. You must be also emotionally strong and sane enough to know, okay, this is what I can take and this is what I cannot take. All right, before we wrap up, YK and Foluke trended last week. Please, sort your matter out. YK, do you remember something happened? How many years ago?
Over 20 years ago.
So you said you didn't do it. Please, YK, what happened? That thing that happened.
Look, I don't want to bring it up. because if I had known it would trend, I wouldn't have opened my mouth. In fact, I've decided I'm going to be quiet on the show from now.
Can't be quiet. Can't be quiet.
I won't be talking again because my talk lands me on the internet, you know. But there is no problem problem between us. And Foluke had told
YK
me-
is someone that we don't, then her hair was not like this. Then she used to pack her hair Afro style. And you know, it was when these were the people that I met when I was stepping into
The industry.
showbiz. You know, so when I first saw her, she had a very, very close relationship.
Oh, so you remember that incident?
No, I don't remember. What I'm going somewhere.
Okay.
You know, she had a very close relationship with Funke.
Yeah.
They were like Siamese twins.
Yeah.
So I used to be wowed by them. Yeah. So maybe I don't know, because you know when I was growing up, I was a child that was always angry. And so maybe it was a situation that happened.
Right.
But you know, I would never, your Bible says, be me that, for me to disrespect her. No, that is not me. You understand? Even though I know I was an angry child.
Yeah.
As I said,
so a troubled
that's why I
teenager.
said, that's why I said something. I said, Toba shoe. To man bag, then Toba ko, ni bag, 1, 2. Then, 1 le buagba. Sometimes I can do something that it might not be directed to her, and it seems as disrespectful. Do you understand? But for me to actually boju boya to be, no, it's not me. You understand? But be that as it may, as I've said earlier, I'm sorry, because for her to remember it, it's something that would have had the wrong impression.
I remembered it because we were talking about it on set. We were talking about something you said on set. So I was just saying, look, young children or young people, you know, young adults, when you do something, it will come back to bite you in the future. So try now. When you are doing all this, your social media, and you are abusing people that are much older than you,
online that are doing
you know, because my own concern when I was doing that, apart from the personal grievance that I had on someone that was younger than my children that was insulting me, was my fear was it's going to snowball to
it will be a norm.
Chaos. Because the truth of the matter is, when we have things like this, that everybody feels that it's normal, it's normal, it's normal. By the time we know what's happening,
it becomes something else.
It becomes something else. And because if you do not nip it in the bud, we'll just see that somebody will just wake up and say, you are talking nonsense as a parent. And then
it has started already.
I'm telling you. So that was just my own concern. You know, maybe the way I did my life at some point, I was emotional and I lost it. But you know, it was not in the place of the seeking respect. It was in the place of concern.
We have to wrap up
the society.
Mikey.
No, there's no problem between us. I'm just saying everybody. I even said it last week that, look, there's no problem. I just brought it up because I see the way people behave on social media, and it's not nice. They abuse. Look, Wole Soyinka said something yesterday. I'm sure that some people will go at him, you know, and
insult him.
This is somebody's grandfather, not even
He's our national
great
pride.
grandfather. Exactly. So don't go after people. Just, you know, respect. That respect. Let's not lose our
Okay.
Value
culture.
and culture.
Yeah.
I think so on that note.
No, Mariah is a...
To spook.
I can never ever.
Who sent you that one?
I have so much respect
That
and
is
love
all
for
we
them.
can do. Please, are you working on anything? Should we look
Yes,
for?
so
Please tell us.
I'm working on a cinema job.
Ah.
I don't want to release
Okay,
the title
okay.
because I've not patented it. And now we have issues, but I'm working on. It has to do with unity. It has to do with ethnic differences and religion.
Wow.
That's tiny.
Very relevant.
Exactly. So it's something that
That's
I believe
powerful.
That we all have our strength in whatever ethnic group we come from, and we have our strength even in our religion as well.
Yes.
You know, we're supposed to use it to fuse it together.
Yes.
To build ourselves.
To be the
build the
best
greatness.
country
That's
this
Yeah.
world has ever had.
At
But
this
when I
point-
come, maybe I might have to pay for it then, but I'll still come back.
At this point, you know, if a house divided cannot stand.
And I'm going to have pastors come on set. I'm going to have imam come on set. I'm going to have
Babalawos, those are my people.
So they are-
I'm looking at Babalawo. Sheni Babalawo.
Yeah.
YK can link you.
Why is Babalawo is very modern, Jared? They have come twice. I need a correct Babalawo to come on.
Right, our show is over.
We need a proper.
The show is over.
No,
No, the show is over.
Why is Babalawo? Now you're foreign Babalawo.
Okay.
You are disrespecting my Babalawo.
He has come twice on the show. I can leave that one.
Don't anger the gods.
Today, that's all we can take. Please, the summary in the end, go into marriage
With your eyes open.
that your partner will not change.
Talk
Just in
about
case
any and
he or she
everything.
doesn't change or adjust. If you are convinced you can't cope, it is a red flag. But if you can cope with these identifiable red flags, then it's fine. On this table, the choice is still yours to decide the man, woman you want to be with for the rest of your life. Have a great day. We'll see you tomorrow. Bye for now.
Bye-bye.
You!